In an alternative version of Japan, there are individuals whose forebears were spirits. Fuyutsuki, a woman who is known for her composed personality, secures her initial employment in an office. While commuting, she comes across Himuro, a young man whose feet are frozen in ice. Himuro explains that he is a descendant of the Snow Woman spirit, possessing the power of ice magic, but his fear of starting a new job caused his feet to freeze. Fuyutsuki shares tea with Himuro until the ice thaws, and he develops a crush on her. By chance, they and two others, Seijima, a human, and Komori, a descendant of the fox spirit, are hired by the same company. Fuyutsuki discovers that Himuro loves flowers and cats, but is unable to approach them since his powers cause them to freeze. The following day, Fuyutsuki gives Himuro straw packaging that can protect plants from frost and a collection of her cat's whiskers, and he falls in love with her. However, his love accidentally causes a snowstorm in the office, which Fuyutsuki appears to be unaware of. The company announces a trip to Okinawa to welcome new employees, but Himuro is hesitant to go since he fears that his excitement will cause a snowstorm, ruining the trip for everyone. Fuyutsuki makes him a surf drum so that he can practice being at the beach without freezing. Himuro trains until he can control his powers, but during the trip, he almost causes storms due to everything he finds cute about Fuyutsuki. While sightseeing with her, he accidentally makes it snow. Fuyutsuki discovers that Himuro hates hot weather since it can cause him to melt. The next morning, a heatwave strikes, and Himuro goes missing. Fuyutsuki locates him hiding in the shade and discovers that when he melts, he physically shrinks and resembles a child version of himself. If he melts further, he will transform into a baby, so Fuyutsuki buys him ice cream to cool him down. Fuyutsuki admits that she finds his child form adorable, and strokes his hair, but he returns to adult size so quickly that it flusters them both. Later, while photographing fireworks, Fuyutsuki takes a picture of child Himuro but keeps it a secret from him. Himuro and Fuyutsuki learn that they might be transferred to different departments but are relieved when they end up in the same office, along with Seijima and Komori. This causes Himuro to freeze the office repeatedly. To show his gratitude for helping him in Okinawa, Himuro decides to ask Fuyutsuki to dinner. During the dinner, Fuyutsuki suspects that it is a real date but is too nervous to ask. Himuro is also nervous, and the date ends abruptly when he claims he enjoyed it and then faints from the heat of his own blushing. The following day, Himuro overhears Fuyutsuki telling Komori that she likes him but knows nothing personal about him. He asks for her phone number, which surprises her. She begins sending him pictures of her cat, Neomero. Fuyutsuki uses the photo of child Himuro as her phone background, but hides this from him. In the office the next day, Himuro meets Katori, a man he knows, who is also a descendant of a spirit. Katori, a descendant of the Phoenix, is a childhood acquaintance of Himuro and has recently been recruited as a salesman. Fuyutsuki invites Himuro to watch a movie featuring cats, which is intended for children, and he accepts the invitation, wondering if it is a romantic outing. The anticipation of the movie keeps them awake throughout the night. Unbeknownst to them, Seijima and Katori are also at the theater, watching a different film. Fuyutsuki is moved to tears by the movie and wonders if Himuro will also cry, but he insists it is a secret. The following day, Himuro and Fuyutsuki end up staying late at the office together, where Himuro becomes nervous. Meanwhile, Seijima and Komori have dinner with Katori and his manager Otonashi. Seijima discloses that he saw Himuro and Fuyutsuki at the movies, prompting speculation that the two are secretly dating. Fearing that Fuyutsuki is bored, Himuro suggests they play games to pass the time, and Fuyutsuki agrees to stay longer, even after completing her work. They end up having dinner together, causing yet another blizzard of emotions in the office. Meanwhile, their friends speculate about what might have happened between Himuro and Fuyutsuki during their late-night work session. Himuro enters a competition to win 2 collectible plates featuring kittens. Komori finds it bothersome that her ears and tail occasionally pop out, but Seijima finds them adorable and suggests she leave them visible. Fuyutsuki also enters the same contest as Himuro. Komori begins collecting toys from sweet boxes, but someone begins leaving extra toys for her. Later, she discovers that it was Seijima who left the toys, and he indirectly confesses his feelings for her, causing her to develop a crush on him. Himuro realizes that he will not be able to earn enough points to win the plates, so Fuyutsuki donates her points to him, and they each take 1 plate. Katori worries that he has upset Otonashi, and confides in Himuro that he is truly in love with Otonashi. Fuyutsuki thinks that Katori should confess his love in a more mature manner. Katori practices confessing his feelings to Fuyutsuki, which makes a jealous Himuro freeze him in ice. Fuyutsuki wonders what it would have been like to have been childhood friends with Himuro, causing him to freeze the office again. Unexpectedly, their boss, a descendant of the Buddha, gives Himuro 2 tickets to an amusement park themed around cats. Fuyutsuki agrees to go to the park with Himuro, resulting in another emotional outburst. Himuro tries to plan the visit beforehand and receives assistance from Komori, who frequently visits the park. Oblivious to the fact that it is a romantic date, Fuyutsuki also invites Komori, who panics and invites Seijima. Himuro becomes melancholic when he realizes that it is now a double date. While at the park, Fuyutsuki and Himuro assist a lost child, allowing Komori and Seijima to continue ahead, hoping that Fuyutsuki and Himuro will have a genuine date once they are alone. However, Komori and Seijima quickly realize that they are left alone on their own awkward date. Fuyutsuki and Himuro spend the entire day together, including dinner, and multiple emotional outbursts, before ending up at a souvenir shop. Fuyutsuki proposes purchasing matching coffee mugs, and Himuro becomes so overwhelmed with emotion from the entire day that he almost confesses his love. Fuyutsuki expresses interest in a Halloween-themed iced coffee, so Himuro purchases 4 of them for Fuyutsuki, Seijima, and Komori to try. However, upon returning to the office, they discover that Fuyutsuki has also bought 4 iced coffees for Himuro to taste. Finding the situation amusing, they share the excess drinks with Katori's group. The company president, who is believed to be a descendant of the Nururihian spirit, decides to organize a Halloween party with a grand prize of 100,000 yen for the best group costume. The consensus is to dress up as pumpkins, but Fuyutsuki is disappointed that pumpkin costumes are no longer available. While searching for other costume options, Fuyutsuki comes across a set of premium vampire costumes, which Himuro nearly buys on the spot. On the night of the party, Fuyutsuki is delayed by her clients, and Katori forgets the costumes he had made for himself and Otonashi. In a hurry, they improvise and create paper Egyptian mummy costumes. Fuyutsuki tricks Himuro with fake blood, causing him to embarrassingly freeze himself solid. Seeing Himuro in his costume, Fuyutsuki becomes flustered by his good looks, and the two remain awkward throughout the party. Katori and Otonashi win the costume contest, but they share their prize with Fuyutsuki and the rest of the group by treating them to an expensive restaurant. Himuro ends up walking Fuyutsuki home, both still dressed in their Halloween costumes. With Christmas approaching, Himuro buys Fuyutsuki a pair of snowflake earrings, but he later changes his mind, thinking the gift is too personal for coworkers. Instead, he gives Fuyutsuki a warm kitten blanket. Komori wins a Christmas ski trip and invites Seijima, Himuro, and Fuyutsuki. Himuro is delighted to be asked to teach Fuyutsuki how to ski, but he soon realizes he has no idea how to teach skiing, as it came naturally to him. Fuyutsuki learns to ski from Komori, leaving Himuro feeling disappointed. When they reach the ski lodge, Himuro reveals that he has a younger sister named Yukimi, who works part-time at the lodge as a model and minor internet celebrity. Fuyutsuki learns that Snow Woman descendants have a reputation for having short tempers with each other, as Himuro and Yukimi frequently argue. However, Yukimi is happy that Himuro has made friends and is fitting in at work. Yukimi takes an instant liking to Fuyutsuki, which makes Himuro jealous. After dinner, Himuro gives Fuyutsuki her gift, revealing that he decided against the earrings as he thought they were too personal. Upon returning home, Fuyutsuki was delighted to witness Himuro's demeanor around his relatives. Himuro expressed his desire to take Fuyutsuki skiing the following year, and thanked Yukimi, who seemed bewildered by the remark. Once Christmas had passed, the president announced an extended break. Fuyutsuki noticed that Himuro's hands were chilly and held them to warm them up, prompting Himuro to unleash a blizzard that engulfed the entire street. The team congregated via video call to commemorate the new year together, but Fuyutsuki was ashamed when everyone noticed she was wearing her old high school gym clothes as pajamas. After arranging to visit a shrine on New Year's Day, everyone departed the call except for Himuro and Fuyutsuki, who watched the countdown to midnight together. Himuro had an ominous dream that the coming year would be fraught with misfortune. Komori couldn't make it to the shrine since she was visiting her parents. Fuyutsuki arrived dressed in a kimono, followed closely by Himuro's wintry blast. Everyone was separated. Seijima went solo, Katori and Otonashi headed to the food stalls, and Fuyutsuki and Himuro wound up at the shrine, inadvertently holding hands again in an effort to stay together. Komori appeared dressed as a shrine maiden, revealing that her parents owned the shrine. She was upset that she couldn't be with the rest of the group, but her spirits were lifted when Seijima bought her a protective charm. While praying at the shrine, Himuro wished to be with Fuyutsuki next year, but Fuyutsuki's wish remained a mystery. With Fuyutsuki's birthday approaching, Himuro is determined to give her the snowflake earrings that he had planned for Christmas. However, severe rain cancels the trains, forcing the ladies to share a hotel room while the men sleep at Katori's nearby apartment. Komori and Otonashi tease each other over Seijima and Katori, causing Fuyutsuki to admit that she has never been in love. Otonashi and Komori find it amusing since it's clear that Fuyutsuki is in love with Himuro. Meanwhile, at Katori's apartment, Himuro overhears Fuyutsuki's birthday plans with her parents and decides to give her the earrings at work. Unfortunately, he is constantly interrupted, but during their walk home, he accidentally freezes the river and trees into a winter wonderland, which Fuyutsuki finds beautiful, so he finally gives her the earrings. Himuro loves them so much that she wears them to dinner with her parents and promises to get something just as special for Himuro's birthday. Later on, Komori overhears Himuro is moving someone into his apartment but is confused it isn't Fuyutsuki until Himuro explains he plans to rescue a stray cat near his apartment. Fuyutsuki volunteers to help and shows him a trick to befriend cats, but they later discover that the cat is a missing pet. Himuro is so depressed, but Fuyutsuki invites him to her apartment to spend time with her cat Niyomero, cheering him up instantly. Stepping inside Fuyutsuki's apartment causes a blizzard of ultrafine snowflakes called diamond dust, a sign that Himuro is blissfully happy. However, the moment is ruined when Yukimi arrives, revealing that she and Fuyutsuki are now friends, and she visits her apartment regularly. Realizing she is interrupting, Yukimi decides to leave but cannot find an excuse that doesn't seem rude and ends up staying for coffee. Himuro is disappointed but recovers when Fuyutsuki asks to visit their home next time. A few days later, they are sent on a business trip together, including a restaurant dinner and hotel rooms, to Himuro's considerable joy. However, after their grueling work schedule is over, Himuro falls ill and instantly reverts to his child form due to overworking. Fuyutsuki cancels dinner and insists on sharing a room so she can look after him. They have an awkward moment when Himuro collapses on top of her on the bed, but the moment passes when their boss telephones them. Fuyutsuki completes paperwork while Himuro sleeps and returns to his adult size. Awakening and seeing Fuyutsuki asleep on the sofa, Himuro feels guilty and works until morning, making himself sleep-deprived. Upon returning home, Himuro feels guilty for ruining the trip. They pass by the street where they first met and realize they have known each other for a year. Reminiscing, they admit they are happier for having met each other. After returning to the office, they attend a cherry blossom viewing party with their friends to welcome them home. And this is all for this video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.